Here's the promised follow-up to today's 411, and I pulled the playhead up forward in this hide-and-seek video just to explain that what I'm about to show you could be adapted to create this background in under a minute using a little third grade math, Illustrator, and the right tools. So I have my coding team is working on a game that they want to use 8-bit art. Now, whether or not I think this is a good idea is irrelevant, but what woke me up this morning was I told them to work with a grid. Hey, look, there's a grid, and then you drop your art in. And I told them to work in Illustrator, use the right tool for the job. And I know you can go into Photoshop and zoom in and see the pixel grid and work there, but then you are making a pizza, not the recipe, and we want to be able to scale these. So we're using the right tool for the job, right? So we're moving over to Illustrator, and I've got the new dialog box open, and the 1920 by 1080 is where I want you working if you're going to be making art for the elements and principles, right? So that's for everyone in the room who's not working in pixel art, and I don't want you guys working in pixel art unless there's a real reason, and I hope my freshmen realize this may not be the best idea in the world. But the size you want to stick to binary, you know, the 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, on and on and on and on and on. So I'm going to say 256. Tab 256, making sure these are pixels and not inches, because otherwise this is way, way, way too big, right? Okay, come on. Thank you very much. I'm going to hit the letter F to get full screen. Spacebar, move this over. And now I want to work not in the default colors, but let's swap it out. So we got black. Let's have no stroke whatsoever. And we just want to set up our pixels, what we'll call pixels. And we don't really need a grid because we're going to lay out individual pixels on this, and then we can select them to create our art afterwards. Now, select the rectangle tool and click once. I'm going to click once right there. And by default, this goes to the last size you used, or if you just launched Illustrator, probably defaults to 100. I want to go 8 pixels. And yeah, we could do 1 pixel, but that's kind of insane. Now, we want to position this. Let's zoom in because all those handles, we're going to end up moving this around. And I don't know if I had snap to grid on. There we go. It is on. Good. You want that to snap into that upper left-hand corner, and you have a bigger screen than me. You should be able to see the X and Y. Now, yours may not be 0, 0. It depends on your registration point. If you move the registration point, these numbers change. Because we're trying to do math and we're trying to work smart, we want to work from this upper corner, and we don't want to have to say, well, it's 4 pixels over 4. Let's just go to that upper left-hand corner, and then we've got 0, 0, and we know where we are. Got it? Okay, so Command 0 again. Now, with this selected, we go to the black arrow and click twice on it. What that does, I clicked twice, and the Move dialog box shows up, and the defaults are whatever we did last. And you see, got preview on. I'm going to turn it off. You see how that moved out? I want to move this over. It's 8 pixels. I want to move it horizontally 8 pixels. And I want to move it vertically 0. Not at all. So let's preview where that goes. And yeah, it goes right next to it. And let's click copy. Not okay. Click copy and then hit Command D. Command D, or hold it down till we get over to the other side and have our complete row. Now I want to select all of these and then double click again, and I want to move it this time vertically 8 pixels. And let's see where it went. It's going down. That's perfect. So we hit copy, then we hit Command 0 so I can see what I'm doing. Pull this over a little bit and hit Command D. And as this goes down, we now have an Illustrator document that's made up of our individual selectable pixels that we can then change the color of, right? And I turned this on only web colors because if you're doing 8-bit art, maybe you want to be true to that 256 color palette. I don't know. It's kind of insane. But anyway, you pick your color and there you go. You now are well on your way to creating something you may or may not use. And if this is too finely detailed, well, instead of 256, you could go to 128, or you could make these 16 rather than 8 pixels. Does that make sense? Okay, work smart. If you're doing those bars, they would be vertical lines, right? You can extrapolate this strategy and use it to position elements on the page, get a little scrap paper, and do a few calculations. Like I said, it's third grade math, and you can build virtually anything that deals with simplicity, as you see in this video, very simply.